Hi, I'm Victoria, and in today's prenatal sequence we're actually going to focus on releasing into the calf and the Achilles. There's a lovely class to do if you've been feeling any discomfort, which can happen with growing size of the uterus and just the shift of your center of gravity, and that can cause pain sometimes just in one side or both sides. You will need ideally a block, a strap, maybe a bolster, and we're going to start on the floor. So coming into your Upavishta Konasana, if this just feels a bit too much, you can come with one leg in. If you'd like to stretch both legs out, having your heels just on the mat or at least padded so that it feels better. And so starting with the right leg, I am mirroring you, but so you're going to place the block against the sole of the foot and then the strap around it. And then you're just trying to flex a little bit the foot here and using the straps to bring a bit of release into the back of the leg. And so this might be, already enough by just keeping that spine long. Maybe you want to see whether folding a little further forward can help just to find a bit more length, a bit more of a stretch. But we're trying to keep the shoulders relaxed. Both legs are gently engaged. You're thinking of rooting both heels into the floor. And as we lengthen the spine, maybe closing the eyes, as we connect to the internal sensations in the body, trying to maintain depth and length in the breath as you breathe in through the nose, maybe breathing out through pursed lips, lengthening your exhalation by a count of 2. Taking one more breath in and out. If you are slightly folded forward, lifting yourself back up, just releasing. If you need to release into the back of the knees, you could just tap the legs a little bit. And then we're going to move on to the other side. So taking your block, your belt, placing the block to the back of your foot, gently flexing the foot toes towards the shin. And again, think of lengthening the spine, having a length between, on the right side, the left side. There's a very gentle turning of the chest towards the leg, but especially in the later stages of pregnancy, you might benefit more from just folding forward rather than folding over the right leg. So again, just seeing where you are at today, what feels more spacious but also feels good. And so again, remembering to keep the shoulders relaxed, the facial expression soft, and coming back to the breath, lengthening the exhalation ever so slightly. Keep the jaw relaxed, a slight gap between your upper teeth and your lower teeth. Lovely, and then slowly come out of the position. Okay, so placing the hands to the back of the knees, accompany the knees as you bring the legs in. Okay, so from here, if you need just a little release, have the feet quite wide. We're just going to do a few windscreen wipers. So as you're moving the knees over to the right, you're really thinking of lengthening down and forward the left knee. Inhale back through center. Exhale the opposite side. This time, right knee gently moves down and forward. So maybe 1 or 2 more times side to side with that awareness. Okay. And now we're going to be coming into our half Virasana, Ardha Virasana, or hero pose. So if you have a bolster and a block, we'll use them. If you don't, we'll also, that's absolutely fine. But if you do, you're going to place one block and make sure that the bolster is firmly rooted to the ground. And you're going to come and sit. We'll start with the left knee. So bending the left knee, coming to sit just at the bottom of your bolster if you have it. If you don't have one, that's totally fine. You're just doing it without anything. So one knee is bent and the other leg is extended. And we want to make sure that the foot is in the continuation so that the foot is not moving out. So top of the foot gently rooted and both sitting bones grounded equally on the floor. So whether or not you have the bolster, the props behind you, you might want to actually simply stay here with both hands by your side. Keep the right leg gently engaged as you root the right heel into the floor. Maybe you can take it a little deeper, and so you're either, if you don't have the blocks or bolster, you'll try and see if you can come onto your forearms, so you're gently opening here. If you've got your bolster, you can, it's just a really nice way to soften and let go, have a really nice opening also into the shoulders as the palms turn up towards the sky. If you don't have the bolster, you could also come all the way lying on your back if that's available. Although I would say after the first trimester, we want to avoid spending too long lying on our back because as the uterus grows in size, it also puts a lot of pressure on the vena cava. So we see how you feel. This version with the support allows you throughout all trimesters to come and lie down on your back in a safe way. So, and it just feels really comfy. So whatever version you've chosen today, taking some time now to draw the attention inwards on your breath, on the sensations inside the body. Maybe hands connect to baby, softening the space between the eyebrows, keeping the upper teeth and lower teeth slightly apart. Using the out-breath to let go of any held tension. Lovely. So from here, placing the hands back to the floor on the forearms, slowly support yourself up. Come to rest a bit more onto the right sitting bone as you release the left leg out, maybe giving a bit of a tapping. You might want to point, flex the foot a little bit, or do some gentle ankle circles. If you're doing ankle circles, changing direction. Lovely. And then we're keeping now the left leg extended and bending the right knee. And again, making sure that that foot is in continuation of the leg. The foot is not moving out. We don't have a flexion in the foot. And then taking your time, using the hands on your bolster if you have one, to slowly release yourself onto the support underneath you, allowing the shoulders to roll out and down. And again, whatever you want to do with your hands, if you want to keep that connection with baby, if you'd rather have the hands just resting on the floor, palms are facing up. Coming back as quickly as you can to that felt experience, being present with the breath, the sensations and sounds. Noticing how this side feels compared to the other, without any judgment. Bringing just a curious awareness to what is happening. Remember using the out-breath to soften, let go of any held tension. Lovely. And from here, making your way up slowly, pressing into both hands, coming to lengthen the right leg, giving it a little shake, maybe pointing, flexing the foot a couple of times, and then a few ankle circles in one direction and then in the other. Okay, so from here, moving the props to the side for now. We're going to come into Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So in your dog here, really remembering, so in pregnancy we want to try and just widen the stances. We're creating more space, a bit more support. Pinky fingers come just off the edges of the mat. If your mat feels, because I know sometimes your mat can feel quite slippery, you might want to just grab a hold of the side of the mat and just to feel that extra support as you tuck the toes under, hover the knees, and then press back and up. And as you press back and up, keep initially a nice bend in your knees. So what we want to avoid is having a round back, straight legs and round back. So favoring the bend in the knees, you're thinking of sending the sternum bone towards the thighs, and here to get that really nice release into the back of the legs, maybe pedaling one leg out, so you're drawing the right heel towards the earth whilst the left knee is bent, and then changing. So really the movement is happening from the hips down, left heel down, right knee bends. Keep wrapping the armpits under, creating length in the spine. Movement really tailored here, focused in the legs as you pedal very gently side to side. And if one side feels, if you have that tightness on one side, maybe just holding on that side for a few rounds of breath. So I'm actually feeling it a lot in the left side. So I'm going to hold here, breathing. If you're feeling a little bit, if you've got a bit of nausea, maybe just lifting the head up a little bit so you're kind of gazing towards the front of the mat, and that should help release and ease a bit of those sensations. We're just going to hold for another few rounds of breath. And then when you're ready, start to walk the feet ever so slightly towards the front of the mat. Keep the stance wide. If you've got a block, you could have the block either on the medium setting, even on the high setting. Have a soft bend in the knees. Really think of lengthening down towards the earth, heels down towards the earth, and opening the spine. So we're finding that tilt in the pelvis. And then maybe just releasing crown of the head towards the earth. And so again, here, feel free to pedal the legs out a little bit, finding that really yummy release in the back of the legs. Of course, if the hands can come to the floor, feel free to keep the hands connected to the floor. But remember, we can use either blocks, and even if you have sensitive wrists, you could be using a bolster. Just feels a bit kinder to the wrists. The other option, if there's really kind of a bit too much pain with the hands in this way, is to come what I call gorilla fingers. So 4 fingers tucked in, and then using the knuckles and the thumbs to really help with that alignment in the wrist. So a lot of options. Pick whichever one you fancy makes the body feel good. Lovely. And then from here, nice bend in the knees, maybe placing one hand on each thigh, and then using the strength of the hands here and the glutes to lift yourself up. Okay, so we're going to do a few standing stretches. Starting, so at the front of the mat, you're going to stay grounded with the left foot. Just balance for a moment on the left foot. If this feels aggravating, then just lift the heel up of the right heel. You don't need to come all the way up. And then hands on the hips, step gently the right foot back. So we're in a high lunge. Here I really want you to think of tilting the pelvis so that the tailbone releases down. And if that helps to have the right knee bent, have a nice bend in that back knee. So we're lifting the front of the hips up, releasing the tailbone down, back knee is bent, and then only if you can maintain the integrity of the pelvis do we extend through the back leg. Okay, so there's a stretch also in the front of the right hip here. Think of releasing the right heel back and away. Hands can stay on the hips, maybe hands into prayer. Think of spreading the toes of the front foot and the back foot, feeling that stability. So we've got a wider base. The feet are not too close together. Maybe close your eyes. Just notice, if you close your eyes, how that kind of shifts your balance. We're really trying to gain a greater proprioceptive awareness, where the body is in space, how it feels. If you're feeling too wobbly, keep the eyes open. That's totally okay. You can just play around closing the eyes, opening the eyes, depending on how it feels. And I should say a modification of this, if standing just feels too much, would be to bring the right knee to the ground, but you're still thinking of sending the energy through the right heel back. And that will still provide a really nice release and stretch into the Achilles. So whether you're with the knee on the ground or in your high lunge, we're just holding here, a couple more breaths. And then slowly ground the outer step of the right foot. So we're going to toe heel the left foot a little bit more to the left side. And then here, depending on the stance, so I actually feel I'm just a bit too wide. I'm going to step the back foot in a little bit for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1 stance. You really want to make sure that both hip bones are facing forward. So we're not in a Warrior 2 stance where there's an external rotation and internal rotation here. We've got hips facing forward, thinking of really grounding through the back heel. Maybe arms float up. Again, you can keep the hands on your hips or in prayer hands. Pinky fingers are turned in if the arms are lifted for an external rotation in the shoulders. Strong legs. Think of the breath, connecting to the breath. And really focus that attention on the Achilles here, grounding through the back heel. Feel the stretch in the calf and Achilles. Lovely. Hands come back onto the hips, shift the weight of the body forward, and then step forward with the back foot. Do whatever you need to do. If you need to just release the legs, give them a bit of a shake, and then we're going to do the other side. So feet a bit wider than you would. Again, thinking of grounding through the right foot. Maybe you're just lifting the left heel. Maybe you're coming just to balance on the right foot. And then wherever you are, slowly stepping back with the left foot as we come to find our high lunge. So making sure your stance is a little wider for balance. You're lifting the front of the hips up as the tailbone releases down. Maybe that back knee bends and you might stay here. Think of still releasing the left heel back and away towards the earth. Maybe if the pelvis can stay in this way, you can start to straighten the back leg. Hands can stay on the hips in Anjali Mudra. In front of you, pinky fingers turned in. So whatever variation you're choosing in your high lunge, really focusing here on bringing the awareness to the back calf and Achilles, breathing out into the stretch, and taking 3 more breaths here. Lovely. From here, we're moving into Virabhadrasana 1. So maybe stepping that back foot in just a little bit, shortening the stance, making sure that both hip bones are facing forward. And again, you're grounding and extending through the back heel. Arms reach up, pinky fingers turn in. And again, we're always remembering that idea, tailbone down, front of the hip bones lifting up. Rooting the energy from the back heel, feeling that really nice release into the calf and Achilles. Either keeping the eyes closed or closing the eyes, testing your balance, feeling all the stabilizing muscles having to work as you do so. Again, this is just an option. Keeping the breath moving. Hands come back into prayer onto the hips. Shift the weight of the body forward. Engage the right glute and slip the back foot in. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more poses before coming back down. So coming back to the left foot, grounding the left foot, stepping the right foot back, and then grounding the outer step of the foot. And then left foot toe heeling it just a little bit more to the left, widening the stance as we prepare to open for Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So make sure that we're not putting too much weight forward. Really think as though someone you loved was holding your back hand and just gently bringing you back so that your torso is directly over your hips. Okay, making sure that the front knee is not turning in, and if it feels a bit turned in, all you need to do is lift the left heel and just bring it inwards a little bit. Spreading the toes, grounding here. Okay, so we're going to inhale and reach the right arm all the way up and forward, and then exhale as you open. Inhaling and exhaling. Last one, breathing in, breathing out. So from your warrior two, start to lengthen into the front leg. Think of really drawing the kneecap up, and if you place your fingers to the inside of your knee, I'd like you, as it straightens, to really feel that muscle, vastus medialis, it's a very thin muscle kind of running, but it helps support the knee. Feel it activated. And so with this engagement of the legs, we're going to make our way into Trikonasana, triangle pose. You might want to have a block, but again, just an option. With that engagement through the legs, both legs strong and engaged, reaching forward and then gently swiveling. So either hand stays on the thigh, so just avoiding the knee area. So you're either on your upper thigh, hand can either be up, maybe on the sacrum, as though you were placing your hand on jeans. Maybe you can come a little further down and gently rest the hand on the hip. And then we're really thinking of trying to open the heart and the chest towards the sky. Breathing here, don't need to look up. We're not trying to create more tension in the neck. You might even want to look down or forward. So just finding a place for the neck that feels comfortable. Thinking of this double arrow with the crown, one arrow pointing towards the crown of the head in that direction and one towards the tailbone. And thinking of really growing tall in both directions, or long rather. Taking 5 more breaths here. Maybe hand on baby if you need to. Just felt a little kick. And at the end of the 5th breath, taking your time to get there, you're going to have a slight bend in that front knee. Maybe left hand comes to the left thigh as you help yourself up, back in your warrior two. Okay, and then we're going to lift the back heel, swivel onto the ball of the back foot, hands on the hips. Start to shift the weight of the body forward. And again, either you're stepping the back foot in a little bit, shortening the stance, or bringing the back foot in one go. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So grounding through the right foot, slowly step the left foot back, and then grounding the outer step of the left foot, toe heeling the right foot a little bit wider so that you have that wider stance, preparing for your Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 position. Fingertips nice and free, reaching, feeling that energy all the way through both hands. Remembering that we want to really have that nice long position over the pelvis. This time, just slightly changing the way we're breathing as we move. This time, as you breathe out, we're drawing the back hand up and forward. Inhaling as you open up. Exhaling and inhaling. Last one, exhale and inhale. Lovely. From here, straightening the front leg, remembering maybe you placing your fingers on that inner muscle and activating it, feeling it engaged. From here, maybe back hand stays on the sacrum, fingertips facing down, reaching forward with the right hand, and then gently finding your variation, whether you had the hand on a block, on the thigh, and thinking of opening the chest out. Both legs are active. Remember, the back leg is your anchor. You're trying to be as light as you can in the chest. Gazing either just in front of you, maybe gazing down, but seeing how you can breathe in a way that feels spacious, feeling strong in the lower body, and free in the upper body. 5 more breaths here. At the end of that 5th out breath, taking your time, bending that right knee, placing the right forearm or the right hand to support yourself up. Lift the back heel, swivel onto the ball of the back foot. Maybe hands are on your right thigh as you press yourself forward. Okay, so from here we're going to come down. So few options. You could lift the heels just some and then start to bend into the knees and make your way all the way down into a kneeling position. And then here, placing the hands, so knees come out wide, and placing the hands in front of you, think of releasing the heels down. So again, just a nice stretch for the calves, the Achilles, and then placing the hands behind you, sitting bones to the floor. So our last move is going to be Supta Padangusthasana. And again, if you have a block, we'll use it. If you don't, that's okay. We're not going to stay too long, so we can all, whatever trimester you are, we're going to come to lie on the back. So again, when we're coming down, we're making sure that we're trying to avoid using our abdominal muscles. So coming to her side, coming down and rolling onto your back. Have your belt. So obviously with a block, if you have a foam block, probably better just in case the block falls on you, but otherwise I'm wrapping already the belt around the block and then placing my foot on there and lifting it up. So shoulders are relaxed. Again, thinking of gently flexing a little bit the foot. The left knee can stay bent. If you'd like to, you can extend the leg out, but I find it a bit more comfortable keeping the opposite leg bent. And then from here, again, thinking of that anchoring through the right hip, right glute, shoulders are relaxed. Again, feel free to close the eyes, tuning into the felt experience as you breathe in and out comfortably, remembering to try and lengthen the exhalation some, maybe just by a count or 2. Taking one more breath here. As you breathe out, slowly, mindfully bending the knee, grabbing a hold of your block, placing the right foot down, keeping the right knee bent, and then coming to place the left foot. So whether you've got the block or not, using the strap, holding here, and again, thinking of gently, ever so slightly flexing the foot, drawing the whole leg a little closer in, and breathing smoothly with ease, keeping the facial expression relaxed. Slight gap between your upper teeth, lower teeth. As you take another 5 to 7 breaths here. And then as you next breathe in, as bending the knee, carefully removing the block, putting it to a side, coming to lie on your left side, head either supported by your arm or maybe using the block, placing right hand on baby, and just taking 5 to 10 breaths here as you bathe in the residue of your practice. Taking a few moments here to lie quietly before moving on with the rest of your day. And if you can luxuriate a little longer in this position, please do so. But if you need to get moving, then start to lengthen the top leg. Use your right hand to press yourself up, with the head slowly coming up. Finding a comfortable seated position. Hands on your heart and on baby, gently bowing your head towards your heart and baby's heart in gratitude for this life that you're creating within you, for all that your body is doing. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the practice. Let me know in the comments how you found this. I will see you here next week. Namaste.